Good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible. This is Dr. Sandhya, and we are again on a Sunday morning. We have gathered for this wonderful book, Never Negotiate the Difference. Before we start anything on the book, I am just going to
Never split
share.
the
Yes. I'm going to. But
never
before
negotiate.
yes, before we start that, I am going to. I'm going to share something. I'm not able to share. Yes. So enjoy what I'm going to just share.
Dad, can I have some ice cream?
No, buddy, it's almost time for bed.
Don't let this happen to you. I'm gonna teach you how to get what you want from your parents. Let's do that again. Dad, I really missed you today. Can we share a bowl of ice cream and talk about our day?
Sure, buddy.
Yes! You gotta figure out what's important to your parents. For Dad, it's quality time. And for Mom, it's something else. Mom, can I play my video game?
Honey, you already played your video game today.
Let's do that again. Mama, can I do that for you so you can take a nap? That is so sweet of you. Yes, thank you, honey. Thank you. I love you. And when I'm done, I'll quietly play my video game.
So what did you all get from this video? Why did I show this? Yes, Pravinji.
Negotiation. What a wonderful piece of example of negotiation that kid has taught his dad.
Yes, it is. Negotiation is actually a kid's game. It all depends on how badly we need something and what efforts we take to understand and understand the other's perspective. So here we are today on a wonderful Sunday morning. Today's presenters, we have CA Praveena Oswal, who has been a presenter on one of the previous occasions. And Praveena, what was that book?
Think Straight.
Yes, Think Straight. Yes. Yeah. And then we have CA Bharat Gupta. He is going to be presenting for the first time. Now, and of course, this is Dr. Sandhya. Now, if we have the best part is whether it is Bharat Gupta. Bharat Gupta has delivered lectures at, 1 minute. Sorry, this is Praveena has delivered lectures at a local college for career counseling. She has been involved in personality development, women empowerment, entrepreneurship development. She has done a lot of good work in working on startups, helping people with work-life balance. And she is connected. She's a member of the management committee of ICAI Satara branch. My favorite place, why? Which is very close to Mahabaleshwar. So she is lucky enough to see the beautiful nature, to be with the nature, and you can see that in her personality. And then you have CA Bharat Gupta ji. He has he has managed about 100 batches for CA students. Best part is the common thing between CA Bharat Gupta and Praveena is that Bharat Gupta has been one of the ex-chairmen at
Ballari.
which is
Ballari. It's
yes,
Ballari.
yes, and he has around 14 years of experience practicing as a professional. He's also doing wonderful work as an officer with an NGO. He has been training students in areas of professional etiquette, perception management, communication skills, leadership skills. He has been a trainer to students in the field of information technology area as well. Of course, he loves to read mainly self-help books on positive thoughts. That's what has pulled him into this group. And we can also see from his DP, he has other hobbies like running, cycling, playing table tennis and badminton. So a pretty active life, I can say. So we have two wonderful speakers for the day. And with this, I hand over the stage to them. Let's enjoy. Let's sit back and enjoy this wonderful book. I've already written that this book was, of course, the two speakers will be talking about it. But what I would like to say is, though this book is written by an ex FBI negotiator, what makes this different is that here the FBI negotiator, his own emotions were involved. So obviously, the points that come out from such a situation have to be very good. And when I showed the initial video, it was to let you all know that it is possible for each one of us to be that great negotiator. So let's hear it from Praveena and Bharat. All the best.
Yeah, actually, thanks for the video. It's like kind of a precursor, like the book based on that premise only, like it's gonna this thing. So it's the transition is smooth. Pravina, start up.
Yeah, okay. So we are excited to discuss Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, a former FBI lead hostage negotiator. Actually, negotiating with the criminals is very tough and you have to use various tactics. In this book, Voss shares his experience and insight on negotiation techniques that are applicable not just in high-stakes situations, but in everyday life.
Yeah, this book, like it's
Are
not
you all
only like
sharing? Are you all sharing the book? The slide?
yeah, this is just an introductory. Like post this, like we'll be sharing. Yeah. Yeah, this book is not only like a book on negotiation. I believe like if you can add one dimension, it is more like psychology also, and probably like marketing also. Why? Because like the few facets are common in all the areas. So it dives deep into human psychology, teaching us how to use empathy and how to use listening skills and smart questioning to achieve better outcome. Over the next 1 hour, we'll be exploring like many aspects of this book. It's like almost like a toolkit, waiting to be like unboxed. Over to Pravina.
Never Split the Difference challenges traditional negotiation methods. Before this book, there were various methods written how to negotiate. Instead of relying on the logic, Watts teaches us to use emotional intelligence and tactical empathy to influence the outcome. He shares techniques that help him negotiate in high-stakes situations such as hostage crisis and how they apply to everyday scenario like salary negotiation and business deals.
Yeah, that's right, Pravina. See, one of the important takeaways from this book is it's not the logic which overrides in any negotiation discussion, any negotiation conversation. It is more like emotions, like which overrides. So Was introduces a concept called tactical empathy. There is something called as mirroring, and there is something called as labeling. The detail of will be like coming in the next chapters as we dwell upon it. Over to Pravina.
Yeah, so we are starting with the first chapter, the new rules with Bharat.
Yeah, sure. Can I like like a PPT?
I will share the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start.
Yeah. See, never split the difference. Probably like like a first misnomer or like something like you feel is it's a book about negotiation skills. And why is it like it's never split the difference? Typically like a negotiation means like you have heard like win-win strategy, right? Where one party gives up something and another party like gives something. No, it's like more of a win-win. However, as Chris was like dealing with like many bank robbers who are hostage takers, etc. Based on his experience, he believes that like it's totally contrast to like whatever the traditional school of negotiation principles which were taught, where I'll just give a example, like where traditional school of negotiations, they believed that the person who is dealing, the person and his emotions are distinct. The person and his emotions are distinct. Whereas Chris was based on his experience, he believed that both are same. It is very important to understand the person in order to move ahead. And why this need of new negotiation came? Because the traditional negotiation, in few cases, it failed. For example, in 1972 Olympics, few Israeli athletes, along with their coaches, they were taken as a ransom. As a hostage rather, where they killed two of the athletes, and they were asking for some ransom, in releasing some terrorists or something. So they were following the traditional, rule book base, which didn't click, due to that, there were 11 casualties or something, where the entire thought process came, let's look into deeper. Is there something needs change? So based on his experience, Chris is able to give many principles. That is what old rules and new rules. In new rules, he believes that we need to understand the person and understands his emotion, because it is based on the premise that logical or facts or logical or facts or projections, etc., they don't play that much important rather than the emotions of the person whom you are dealing with. So so it is very important that you should always believe that the person and the negotiation, the person and the position are the same. The person whom you are dealing with is the same guy. So next slide. Yeah. So he believes that there is something called as understanding their emotions. What happens is, once you understand their emotions, it opens a door for you to talk to them and work along with them in order to ensure that your problem is solved by solving their problem. So it is very important to understand something like emotional behavior. That's what the first chapter tells about. Next slide. Yeah. So there is a shift in the mindset, where hitherto logic and propositions or projections or graphs or something there were more of predominant, whereas now it is emotional aspects of that which are more important. We can use, once you understand their emotions, we can use it as a communication. That's what it says. Yeah. Next. Yeah. He introduces something called as a tactical empathy. See, always when you're talking to someone, there is something you understand their perspective. That is what you understand their concerns. Thereby, that is called as tactical empathy. The more of this will be dwelling in chapter 3, where I'll be telling in detail. So this is a summary of chapter 1. The old school of thought is totally outlived. Now the new rules, which are new rules of negotiation, are emotion plays more important. Over to Pravina for chapter 2.
Yeah, be a mirror. The chapter introduced one of the most straightforward yet powerful negotiation technique, mirroring. Mirroring is about using simple psychological technique to build rapport, gain valuable insight, and guide conversation. Voss highlights how mirroring, when done correctly, can help you negotiate even the toughest situation. So let's dive into it. Now what is the mirroring? Mirroring, as Voss defines, is the act of repeating the last 1 to 3 words or the most critical words of what someone has just said. It is subtle but incredibly effective way to build a rapport and keep the conversation flowing. So you are just repeating 1 to 3 last word or the crucial word from the sentence. And when you mirror someone, you signal that you are actively listening, which makes the other person feel heard and understood, which is most important in any negotiation. This triggers a sense of trust and encourages them to keep talking, giving you more information. Here is a simple example. Imagine a colleague says, I'm really overwhelmed with the number of projects on my plate. You could respond by mirroring the number of projects. This encourages them to elaborate, often provide you with more details you can use in information negotiation. The information or reading between the lines is very important in any negotiation situations. And in that, mirroring helps, because when you mirror someone, that is, the person feel like you are like him only, and he will become comfortable with you. The trust is created, the rapport is built. So why mirroring is work? Because why? Because Voss explains that it taps into human psychology. People are naturally drawn to those who seem similar to them. This is known as the chameleon effect. When you mirror someone's words, you are subtly align yourself with them, and this creates rapport and trust. Voss writes, people feel safe when they are talking. By repeating back their own words, you encourage them to keep going, revealing more without feeling pressured. Mirroring is non-confrontational, making it perfect for high-stress situations where pushing too hard might backfire. This technique doesn't just apply to formal negotiation. It works in everyday conversation as well. Whether you are resolving a dispute, making a business deal, or even talking to a friend, mirroring helps you to stay in control of dialogue while making the other person feel comfortable. So, how you can use it in practice? It's not about mindlessly repeating every word the other person says. It's about strategically choosing a key phrases that encourage them to open up. So the step-by-step breakdown of how we use mirroring in negotiation is: listen carefully, pay attention to the other person's tones, word choice, and the emotions. Then choose keywords, identify the last 1 to 3 words or the most important part of their statement, pause, and wait, when you mirror, pause and wait for a moment. Silent gives the other person space to think and respond. And then mirroring will prompt them to explain more or clarify their position. So, like just a small example, there is a salary negotiation or a deadline for a deadline. So the manager is, I don't think we are going to hit the deadline with the resources we have. Then the employee says, the resources we have? Yeah, we are short staff and the budget cuts have limited our options. Then the employee, limited your options? Manager, yes, we are considering hiring freelancers to help, but we are not sure it fits within the budget. Like this, you can mirror the last 1 to 3 word or the crucial word and build the rapport. So what are the tactical benefits of the mirroring? Mirroring has several tactical benefits. It helps you to slow the conversation down because there is a pressure on each side to close the negotiation. So it gives you the breathing space. This is crucial when emotions are running high or when you need time to think. Instead of rushing to respond, you use the mirroring technique to keep the conversation going while giving yourself space to process. Second, it allows you to gather more information. When people feel heard, they tend to share more details. Voss says, you get your counterpart to reveal their strategy without them even realizing it. By mirroring, you encourage the other person to keep talking, and that gives you valuable insights. Finally, mirroring helps you to avoid conflicts, which is very much important. If there is conflict is created, it goes on the ego and it becomes difficult to negotiate. It deflects tension because you are not confronting the other person's head on. You are simply reflecting their own words back to them. This can be particularly useful in difficult or high stress negotiation where direct disagreement might escalate the situation. In this chapter, Voss shares several real-life examples of how mirroring has worked for him in high-stakes situations like hostage negotiations. In one instance, he used mirroring to de-escalate a situation by keeping the hostage taker talking, which eventually allowed him to gather the information needed to resolve the crisis. So, when the Voss says, mirroring is the art of insinuating similarly. By subtly aligning yourself with the other person, you build trust and guiding the conversation in the direction that benefits you. So you control the conversation without even knowing your counterpart that you are giving direction to the conversation. This is the effect of mirroring. Yeah, let's move to the next chapter. Bharat.
Yeah, as Pravina was telling, the first step is starts with active listening. After you actively listen and you mirror them, now you get a open up, like the person gets opened up where you can understand like, their concerns. That is exactly like what is empathy is. See, there are two ways of looking at it. Empathy, sometimes when someone tells their problem or something, like we have like, we can uh, uh, suggest them as a like a advisor, or we can be immersed in that empathy, I mean in that problem. So Chris Voss uses a subtle technique named as labeling it. So what is labeling? Labeling is uh, stating that emotion, so that the other person is feeling like he is being heard, and also like it makes him comfort to open up more and tell the problem. Uh, I'll just give a small example. David, a manager in a multinational firm, was confronted by a high-rated employee called Karen. She was felt consistently overlooked for promotions. So instead of getting defensive or like strong in Karen's emotions, David calmly responded, "It sounds like you're feeling frustrated and overlooked." By labeling her emotions, he immediately saw a change in Karen's approach. Her stance softened, and like the fact that feelings are getting acknowledged, and the fact that her feelings are getting acknowledged. This simple act of recognizing uh, the allows the like person from being at a confrontational situation to a collaborative situation, and thereby in this example, uh, uh, David is able to like understand like Karen's problem and like discuss tangible steps in order to like for her career improvement. So I'll give one more example. There is a family gathering where uh, in that family, like uncle and aunt are there. So aunt is like he is known. I mean, she is known for her like strong opinions. So she is of the view that they had like very good time at the sea at the beach. So they wanted to like plan a vacation at the beach. Whereas on the contrary, like the uncle, what he believes, since it's a summer and it's very hot and sultry, so he thought like let us plan in a mountain, in a hill station rather. So the argument started. I mean the propositions etc. were discussed, and there was a heat in the argument. So what happens is like one person stands up and says to the aunt that it seems like we had good time at the beach. You want to like have the same feeling for the family, and he says to the uncle, it seems like since like you're concerned about the heat here, so let's plan for a that's the reason you're like considering like a hill station for a vacation. So by doing this act, what happens is it propels both the parties to discuss constructively, or else there is a possibility like the entire the family would have divided into teams, and each having their own opinion strongly. So what happens is by labeling, you are able to like not only like change the standpoint of view as a confrontational standpoint of view to more collaborative. So this helps. However, there are like three, four words which you can always use. It seems like, or it sounds like. This is it's a neutral words. These are neutral words. When used, it helps both the parties. For the other side, it helps not diving down deep in their emotions, thereby like he's under control, and the other party, he gets a feeling that he's understood, and he'll be like more opened up and like collaborative with you. So this is something called as labeling. It's a beautiful concept, whereby it can be like used in uh, not only like in a business discussion, even like in your day-to-day discussion also, like where someone is telling, you understand their perspective, you label their emotion. It helps in order to that person collaborating with you in solving your problem. So this is about labeling. So next chapter, let's see next chapter.
So we always want yes from our counterpart, but the fourth chapter is beware of yes, master no. And how? This is common misconception in negotiation. Idea that getting yes is a goal. No. Instead of chasing yes, Voss suggests we should be more focused on creating an environment where the other party feels comfortable saying no. There should not be pressure on any part. This might sound counterintuitive, but it's one of the most powerful strategies in the negotiation. Let's dive into why this is, because most people think of yes as a victory negotiation, but Voss points out that people often say yes to avoid conflict or end the conversation. So I also observed that if I'm not agreeing with someone, or if I just want to end the conversation, हाँ ठीक है okay कह के हम निकल जाते हैं, लेकिन that is not helpful in a negotiation, because saying yes is not a real commitment. He writes, yes is often a trap, a way to create a false sense of agreement. So think about it. How many times you just said yes to move on from a conversation, even though you weren't fully on the board? I think you must have observed this in your conversation. Voss explains, yes can be deceptive because it doesn't necessarily mean someone is ready to act. Negotiation is not just coming to a point, it should further acted on that. So, Voss learned this is a hostage negotiation where forcing a yes could lead to disaster. In life and business, it's the same. A quick yes often signals a lack of engagement or understanding, which can lead to problem down the road. So, how you encourage no? Instead of pushing for yes, Voss emphasizes the power of no. He explains that no gives people a sense of control and security. When you feel comfortable, you can say no. It gives you sense of control. They feel they are protected themselves from being taken advantage of. This can often be the door for a real conversation. As Voss puts it, no is not a failure, it is a start. By giving the other person permission to say no, you create a space where they feel safe and comfortable. They allows them to engage more honestly and thoughtfully. For example, imagine you are trying to sell a product and the potential customer seems hesitant. Instead of pushing them for a yes, you could ask, are you against trying this product for a month to see meets your need? By giving them the option to say no, you are lowering their defense and encourage them to think more critically. Often, once people feel safe saying no, they will follow with their actual concerns, which leads to more meaningful negotiation. So, how you encourage them to say no? By collaborated questions. One of the technique Voss teaches is using calibrated questions that are designed to make the other person feel in control. These are open-ended questions that guide the conversation without pushing for a specific answer. Instead of asking questions that lead to yes, you should frame questions that allow the other person to comfortably say no or explain their position in more detail. For example, instead of asking, do you think this proposal works for you? You could ask, is this proposal something you would be opposed to? Calibrated questions like this put the other party in a position where they feel they are express their concern freely. This creates a collaborative environment. So when you receive no, that is not the rejection. It is a starting point. Boss says, no is a decision. Yes is a commitment. When you get no, you are learning something valuable about other person needs, fears, or boundaries. It's an opportunity to ask follow-up questions and gather more information. Often, people will say no to protect themselves from decisions they are not ready to make. By encouraging no, you create a conversation where they can voice their concerns and you can address them head on. In chapter 4, Voss challenges the traditional view of negotiation by teaching us the no is just as important. It is not more important than yes. He shows us that pushing for yes can be a dead end, and allowing no opens up the door for genuine dialogue and problem solving. So this is the importance of yes, and you should use importance of no, and you should use this in your everyday negotiations. Let's move to the next chapter.
Yeah, in chapter 5, it's called as like, trigger the two words that transform any negotiation. And what are those two words? That's right. In this chapter, Voss introduces a powerful tool for negotiators, two simple words that can dramatically shift the tone and direction of any discussion. These two words are that's right. And when used effectively, they can create rapport, build trust, and encourage open communication. Let's explore how these words work in negotiation. Yeah, the power of that's right. Voss explains that when you hear that's right from the other party, it signals that they feel understood and validated. It's a movement of alignment that can lead to like more productive discussion. Voss states when you make your counterpart feel heard, they become more likely to collaborate. Unlike yes, which has a superficial, which can be superficial, that's right signifies a deeper understanding. When you achieve this response, it opens a door for meaningful dialogue. Let's see an example. Imagine Sophia, a project manager, was in a meeting with the stakeholders discussing project timelines. The client, a dedicated team from tech startup, were pushing for a tighter deadlines. As the conversation became intense, Sophia took a moment to lay out their concerns, and she understood them. She said, "Are you under a pressure towards launching in the tech conference, and you guys believe that the current deadlines would put that at a risk?" To which the CEO responds with that's right. Those words shifts the dynamic of that meeting. So with a shared understanding in place, the two teams collaborated more effectively to work towards a workable solution. Another example. You and your partner are having disagreement about your weekend plans. You want to visit family, but your partner is reluctant without stating why. So instead of pushing your agenda, you summarize their feelings. You're worried that if we spend time with your family, will not have quality time for us, right? To this, your partner her eyes meets with your eyes, and she replies, "That's right." Those two words underline the concern out in the open, creating foundation for more constructive conversation. In a negotiation and in daily interaction, the power of that's right can never be underestimated. It's a testament to true understanding that can turn adversarial exchanges into more collaborative conversation. So that is the power of that's right. Over to next chapter.
So now the chapter 6 is bending their reality. Reality is not the fact. Based on the same fact, my reality may be different from your reality. So let's see how we can bend their reality. In this chapter, Voss emphasized that reality is subjective and can be influenced by how we frame our conversation. He introduced the concept of anchoring, like by playing the small video at the initial of this session. Sandhya ma'am set the tone for the session. By anchoring, you set up the tone for your conversation for the negotiation. So, where the first piece of information presented sets the tone for the negotiation. For example, if you are negotiating a salary, starting with the higher figure can anchor the conversation in your favor. Voss also discusses the importance of creating a sense of loss in other party. He suggests that people are more motivated to avoid loss than to achieve gains. So you should use this human psychology in your negotiation. By highlighting what they stand to lose if agreement isn't reached, you can bend their perception of reality to make your proposal more appealing. Throughout the chapter, Voss provides practical examples from his experiences as an FBI negotiator, illustrating how these tactics can be effectively implemented. His storytelling makes the strategic relatable and easy to understand. In this book, Voss has shared many small examples for better understanding of the concepts. So, what are the main takeaways from the chapter? You should use anchoring. Start with the strong initial offer. This sets the stage for the rest of the negotiation and helps you steer the conversation in your favor. You should highlight the loss, frame your proposal in a way that emphasizes what the other party could lose if negotiation is not concluded. This can increase their urgency and willingness to agree. So you should remember that no deal is better than a bad deal. And you have to adjust the perception. Negotiation isn't just about the numbers, it is about emotions and perceptions. Understanding how the other party views the situation can help you tailor your approach effectively. So you should use empathy and listening, the importance of active listening. By genuinely understanding other parties' perspective, you can better address their concerns and adjust your strategy accordingly. In this chapter, he has shared one example in which the techniques or tactics we have discussed till these chapters are used. So it is a negotiation for a service contract where client is saying, I know your company is well regarded and I appreciate the quality of service you provide. However, I need to ensure that the terms meet our budget constraints. Vendor, I understand that, but our pricing is competitive. Now the client is anchoring. To move forward, I would like to propose a starting rate of $5,000 that would really help us stay within our budget for this quarter. Vendor, that's below our standard rate. So client, highlighting the loss. I see your point. However, if we can't find a way to work together on pricing, we may have to explore other vendors who can fit our budget, which would be loss for both of us, giving the strong relationship we would have built. I found this chapter particularly eye-opening. The idea that our reality can be bent through strategic framing really resonated with me. It's reminded that negotiation isn't just about hard facts. It's about the art of persuasion and understanding human psychology. So by using these tactics, you can bend their reality and move or turn negotiation in your favor. Let's move to the next chapter.
Yeah, I think chapter 6 is one of the biggest chapter. It probably requires one session whole, I guess. Okay, coming to chapter 7, creating the illusion of control. This chapter explores how allowing the other party to feel in control can lead to more successful negotiation. Let's break down the key concepts, example and practical application of these strategies. Tactical empathy. First up, it's a concept of tactical empathy. Voss emphasizes that understanding the emotion and perspective of the other party is crucial. By acknowledging their feelings, you build rapport and trust. Example, imagine negotiating a deal for a new job. If you sense that your potential partner is anxious about your budget constraint, Acknowledging that concern can help ease their worries. You might say, I understand that your budget is tight, and I appreciate you being transparent about that. This approach not only shows empathy, but also sets the stage for a more open dialogue. Practical application. In your next negotiation, take a moment to actively listen and reflect back what the party is feeling. This can shift the tone of your conversation, making them feel heard and valued. Next comes something called as calibrated question, which Premina was telling like in the previous chapter. So WAS suggests an open-ended questions to guide the conversation while giving the other party the illusion of the control. This question prompt them to think and provide valuable information. Example: instead of asking, can you lower the price? You might ask, how we can work together to make this fit within my budget. So this puts the onus on them to come up with a solution while steering the negotiation towards your goal. So practical application. Practice formulating a calibrated questions in advance in your next negotiation. Think of the questions that will invite collaboration rather than confrontation. This not only makes the other party feel more involved, it opens up the door to create problem solving. Next is the power of no. Another concept from this chapter is the value of getting to know. Voss agrees that people feel safer and more secure when they say no. It creates a psychological barrier that allows them to feel in control. For example, if you are negotiating a salary increase, instead of pushing for a specific number, you may ask, is this the best you can offer? If they say no, it opens up the conversation for negotiation without making them feel concerned. So practical application. When negotiating, encourage the other party to say no by framing your proposal in a way that it makes comfortable for them to decide. This strategy can lead to more honest discussion and ultimately more favorable outcomes. In summary, Chapter 7 of Never Split the Difference teaches us importance of creating the illusion of control in negotiation by employing tactical empathy, using calibrated questions, and embracing the power of no. We can guide the conversation more effectively while making the other party feel empowered. So this is about Chapter 7. Over to Chapter 8.
So the chapter 8 is guarantee execution. As I already said, only concluding negotiation is not enough. You should the negotiator also strategically decide how the negotiation result is executed, and this chapter is about that. So WAS share strategy do not only teach us deal but make sure it is effectively executed. Let's break down the key concept and practical application from this chapter. Importance of how. First, let's discuss the significance of asking how. WAS emphasizes that simply reaching an agreement is not enough. You need to clarify how both parties will fulfill their commitments. For example, if you negotiate a project deadline, instead of just agreeing on a date, ask how you are going to ensure that we meet this deadline. This invites collaboration and accountability, make the execution of agreement more likely. Practical application. In your next situation, make it a point to ask the execution process. Frame questions that encourage the other party to outline their plan. This not only helps you understand their perspective, but also establishes a mutual commitment to follow through. So you have to clarify the expectations about what other party is expecting in executing the negotiation. So the importance of establishing clear next step is very emphasized. Ambiguity can lead to misunderstanding and unmet expectations. Clear agreement about what happened after the negotiation is crucial. After agreeing on a contract, specify who will handle the initial task and when these tasks will be completed. Instead of saying, we will start soon, clarify with I will send over the revised contract by Friday and we will review it by Monday. At the end of your negotiation, summarize the next steps, create a checklist of responsibilities of each party to ensure everyone is on the same page. This reduces the chances of future dispute and foster accountability. The use of no is here again emphasized here. Voss explains, you should encourage the other party to explain their agreement while also allowing them the freedom to say no. This creates a sense of security and commitment. Instead of pressuring for yes, ask, does this sound reasonable to yes? If they agree, you are more likely to feel, they are more likely to feel ownership of the decision, which enhances execution. So during negotiation, frame your proposal in a way that encourages agreement, but also invites other party to express concerns. This help build a collaborative environment, make it easier to execute agreed upon terms. So for example, in a project agreement, there is a negotiation and you are finalizing the term of service contract. So the client, I'm pleased we are agreed on the service provided. To ensure we are both on the same page, we can outline the key deliverables and deadlines. The service provider, of course, we will deliver the initial report in 2 weeks, then revisions will follow. Client, great. Can you confirm who will be responsible for each part? It's important for me that we have clear accountability. Service provider, I will handle the report writing and my assistant will manage the revisions. Client, perfect. I would like to put this in writing. Can we draft an email summarizing these points to ensure everything is clear? So in this chapter, the Voss emphasizes the importance of guaranteeing execution in negotiation by asking how establishes clear next step and strategically using yes and no, we can ensure that our agreement translate into action. So this strategy helped me or inspired me to rethink and how I can approach negotiation. It is not just about closing deal. It is about creating roadmap of a success, and it guarantees the perfect execution of the deal, and both parties feel comfortable and safe. Trust is created when you guarantee the execution of your negotiation. And with these steps and tactics, you can guarantee the execution of the negotiation. So let's move to the next chapter.
Yeah, chapter 9 is bargain hard. See, both words are similar because bargaining is always hard. No? Yeah, in this chapter, it is all about the act of bargaining and how to effectively negotiate and get best possible outcomes. What shares is practical strategies that can help us approach negotiation with confidence. Let's explore these concepts in detail. The Ackerman model. The Ackerman model. First, let's talk about the Ackerman model, which was details as a systematic approach to bargaining. This method involves 4 key stages that can help you maximize your offers while maintaining a strong negotiation position. First step is set your target price. Before entering negotiation, determine your ideal outcome. That is the starting point. Next, make the initial offer. Make sure the first offer is at the 65% of the target price. This might seem low, but it sets a strong anchor for the negotiation. Increase strategically. After the initial offer, increase your offer in increments, first to 85% and then to 95%. Each increase should be made with a pause so that allowing the party to react, creating tensions that can be beneficial in the negotiation. So by pausing, you are creating a tension that can be beneficial in the negotiation. So make the final offer. Finally, make your last offer at 100% of your target price, but include some additional incentive for the value. This could be a bonus, faster delivery, or a guarantee, something that makes the deal feel more attractive. For example, if your target salary is 80,000, you start around 52,000. That is the 65% of the price, benchmark price, what you are expecting. Then move to 68,000. That is 85%. Followed by $76,000. That is like 95% of that. And finally, concede at 80,000 with a note about flexibility on the start dates or extra vacations. Practical approach. Next time when you are in negotiation, use the Ackerman model to structure your offer. It helps momentum and keep the other party engaged while allowing you to control the conversation. Also use something called non-monetary items. Let's discuss the power of non-monetary items in bargaining. Voss emphasizes that negotiation don't always revolve around money. Sometimes adding value in the other way can sweeten the deal. For example, if you're negotiating a contract, instead of solely focusing on the price, you may also negotiate for additional services or extended warranties or flexible terms. This adds perceived value to your offer without requiring any financial increase. I'll just give an example for this. For example, like someone is discussing a deal. So you add a non-monetary term that I'll list your website in my blog. Thereby, it gives an incentive for using this non-monetary technique in order to sweeten the deal. So thereby, they yield to that. Next, there is something called as fair word. Another essential element from this chapter is the strategic use of the word fair. Voss explains how this term can be a powerful tool in negotiations. People often want to feel that they are treated fairly. So using this concept can shift the dynamics of the conversation. Example, when you're presenting your final offer, you might say, I believe this is a fair, this pricing is fair after considering the market conditions and the value we'll provide. This encourages the other party to view your proposal more favorably. So practical application. When negotiating, incorporate this idea of fairness into your dialogue. Frame your offers in such a way that highlights the reasonableness and the mutual benefits for each party. It helps to soften their resistance and create a more collaborative atmosphere. To sum up, chapter 9 of Never Split the Difference provide invaluable insights in effective bargaining by employing the Ackerman model, creativity, using non-monetary terms and framing discussion around fairness. We can significantly enhance our negotiation outcomes. That's about chapter 9. Over to chapter 10.
Find the black swan. Generally, white swan is everywhere we can see. But the importance of black swan appeared very found to the writer, and he named his company after the word the black swan. So, what is the black swan? Black swan are unknown. We are very aware about the facts, we know about them, but the black swan or the information which is not known to us, and it is also not known or understand by us, that there are some facts which are unknown to us, and this plays a very important role in negotiation. They change drastically the dynamics of the negotiation. So the black swan are the unknowns, the piece of information that can be game changer in negotiation. Let's explore how to identify and leverage this in our discussion. A black swan, according to Voss, is an unpredictable event or piece of information that has significant consequences. In negotiation, this can be fact or insights that you weren't aware of that could shift the balance of power. Voss emphasizes that many negotiations overlook the importance of identifying these hidden factors. As he starts, every negotiation is a unique situation. You have to look for information that can change everything. For example, consider a scenario where a buyer is negotiating for a price for a property. They may seem firm on their budget, but if you discover that they are under pressure to close the deal quickly due to an upcoming move, that insight becomes a black swan. You can then just adjust your strategy to leverage their urgency. For that purpose, research is crucial because you have to find the black swan, and for that purpose you have to research. The research is active listening, asking open-ended questions, creating an atmosphere where the other party feels comfortable sharing. He notes the only way to discover the black swans is to listen the what people say and what they don't say. For example, in a business negotiation, you might ask your counterpart about their previous experience with the suppliers. Their response may reveal frustrations that can inform your approach. For instance, if you mention that a previous supplier frequently delivered late, you can position yourself as a reliable alternative by highlighting your track record for on-time delivery. So how you can find the black swan? Creating opportunities for the other party to disclose information is crucial. WAS emphasizes the use of tactical empathy, which involves understanding the perspective of other person without agreeing with them, like using various techniques, mirroring and calibrated questions. These are the techniques we can use, which can give you the opportunity to find the black swan. And for that purpose, you have to show genuine curiosity and empathy. You encourage other party to open up. As Vas puts it, the more you know about other party's perspective, the more likely you are to uncover the black swans. In any negotiation, the research or the homework is very important. On that basis, you have to plan your negotiation. It is just not like that you are the expert and you just go on round table and start negotiating with the counterparty. For that purpose, you have to study hard about what are previous experience with that counterpart, or is there any negotiation that is successful or that has failed with them. This information help you to understand their perspective, their working style, and how they are behaving in the negotiations or in any situation. For example, let's say you are negotiating is a contract with a client. Instead of going straight to the terms, you might ask, what challenges are you currently facing in your industry? That not only shows your interest, but could also reveal unexpected insights that might affect the negotiation. He shared many examples of black swan in the chapter. Some of the examples are, he shared his experience as a hostage negotiator to illustrate the concept of black swans. One notable example involved a kidnapping case where the negotiator discovered a key piece of information, an illness in the hostage taker's family that led to a breakthrough in negotiations. This highlights that in high-stakes situations, hidden information can be life-saving. The lesson here is clear. Never underestimate the potential impact of undisclosed information, that is unknown unknowns. In this last chapter, Voss reminds us that the path to successful negotiation is paved with the discovery of black swans, those unpredictable factors that can change the game. To identify them, we must be diligent listener, asking the right questions and remaining open to the unexpected. As was successfully put in, you need to be curious and open-minded in every negotiation. For every negotiation, you have to go open-mindedly. यही नहीं कि मुझे तो सब कुछ पता है. There may be some hidden facts or piece of information which is unknown to you. So your approach for your next negotiation, remember to keep an eye out to those hidden gems of information that could transform the outcome. And this concept is very found by the writer Chris Voss. The name of his company is also the Black Swan Limited. So these are the tactics shared by Voss to use in high pressure or high stress negotiations, but that are used in our everyday life also. Just now observe your conversation with your clients, even within your family members, how the negotiation is taking shape and what are the outcomes. If the outcome are not as expected by you, then you should observe the conversation. Have you used this tactic in your everyday situation for the desired outcome? And you can apply them in your day-to-day life also. And the black swan or this information gives a leverage. He has shared the three types of leverage: positive leverage, negative leverage. So the negative leverage is, you think that the counterpart is having the power over you, and you are feeling that you will lose if the counterpart, the deal is not closed. That is negative leverage. And the positive leverage is, you have the thing which the counterpart want from you, so you have upper hand. You can leverage that thing in designing or bending the negotiation in your favor. So you should know the facts very clearly. What the other person wants from you, are you able to give that? And what is the urgency of that other person? These are things you should keep in mind while dealing in any negotiation. And there should be flexibility, open-mindedness, and adaptability. Because it is not just like split the difference or chalo aadha 50-50 kar dete hain. You said that the demand is for 1,50,000. Let's close it at 75,000. No. The cases may be that the deal may get closed at 15,000 also. It depends on the urgency or need for the other party. And for that purpose, you should aware and use these various techniques shared in this book, Never Split the Difference. So splitting the difference, that is तेरी मतलब तेरा भी नहीं मेरा भी नहीं चलो आधा आधा तो कर देते. This is the old techniques which you should not use in the negotiation, and use new age strategies, new rules in your every negotiation. As the example or video shared, Sandhya ma'am, it is just the conversation between the father and the son. So like that in our life, in every situation which we are negotiating for something, as we want something, the other person is having that, or we are having something and other person wants that, and we are negotiating on the terms. So these are the techniques shared in the book, which is useful in high value negotiation as well as everyday life. And it is not that these techniques about manipulation. It is about creating a collaboration. Both parties should feel like they are winning. That's the beauty of tactical empathy and calibrated questions. It is not about being the smartest person in the room or forcing your way through a negotiation. It is about being the best listener and understanding what the other person really wants. This book shows that negotiation is about relationship and not just transactions. This is all about the theory part. We all are having some experiences in which we succeeded in the negotiation or maybe failed in some cases. So we can share some of the experiences here. The floor is open for the audience. Over to you, Sandhya ma'am.
What to say? I thoroughly enjoyed, and I was just looking at the count of the participants throughout. I think only just for a few minutes somewhere it was at 39, 38 or 39. But throughout, I think we have crossed 40. And the book, all the points that you all mentioned, I felt they were so practical and so simplistic. So I really enjoyed. Now, Kishore ji.
That is the art of negotiation, ma'am. आपने जो बोला ना, that is the art of negotiation.
Yes. So the stage is to y'all. Please. Good morning, Poonam. Good morning, Meenakshi.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah,
I read 3 chapters of the book, and thanks for the presenters. They made me know the meaning of the word black swan. I couldn't understand when I read it in the 3 chapters.
I go through this always when by now you all know when I come up with that analysis, So it's always a risk that I have to take when I'm analyzing a person's personality. It's not magic, but it is active listening. It is understanding the situation, understanding the mannerism, and then the effect of every word. So I felt I could really correlate to it. But so let's hear it from everybody. Each one of us have gone through these different negotiation situations.
Yeah, I just want to add one point. I think in the previous book review, someone was telling like, it is difficult to, convince my daughter or something. I think Mithali or someone, they just said. And now you are like having all this toolkit, right? So I'm sure like, using this toolkit, you are able to convince. Maybe try.
But that's the problem. That's the problem. My son is listening. So he's also developing the
That's so bad.
Bharat, I'm a very bad negotiator. I mean, I don't know how to bargain. My daughter will take me to the market and say, "Tumko to nahi aata, tum chup raho. You just keep quiet." So I learned a great deal today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, there is
My
a quote actually.
husband was telling me, which book are you reading these days?
I remember, I don't know how many of you understand Marathi, but for me, my dad is an example. We are obviously we have he used to go. Now he's no longer there, but he knew the time when he has to enter the fish market, and he knew the mindset of the fish sellers. So it's like either he would go early in the morning when he is possibly the first customer when they're opening the business, or he'll go at a time when they have to sell their fish, because he knows now they don't have an option. So the way he would go, if people don't understand, y'all can tell me. But this is the best example of negotiation that I can think of. He would enter the market and he would make a point to get out of the car or the auto much before he reaches the market. So the seller doesn't know how he has walked in. And often he would also carry his grandson along. So first he will go take a round, see, and then the seller that he wants to go to, he'll go there, and then it's like I'll talk in Marathi so you get the thing, So it's like I'll also translate it. So it's like chal kiti la dete. So she'll the moment he starts in Marathi, she knows that he's a local. So obviously for some other customer where she'll start with 1,000, she'll say, okay, Baba, 700. So immediately he'll say, Kai hai, 700 kai, don't say la de. The rate, when he quotes the rate, she is very much aware. Like she quoted 700, but the moment, and that too because he has spoken in local language. So when he says give it for 200, she knows that he's aware of what is the actual cost or what is the actual price, no? So then she'll like, okay, chalo, don't put our paino ko dios. Means it's like, please don't hurt me so much. So then she'll say, okay, chalo, give it for 400. And then he'll say, no, 400 nahi chalega. 300, take it or leave it. And then he'll start, So then she'll give it, she'll accept his terms. Upar say, because he has carried his grandson along, she'll give some extra. Chalo, take it for him also. So in the end, it's a win-win. It's an absolute win-win deal for him. And these fish sellers, they may not be so educated, but they are so observant. They know which customer to quote what price. Let's say a person is coming out, getting down from the car, and let's say he's talking on the mobile. He's dressed in, let's say, those capris. So it's like, and maybe even if he has a son along or whatever. So they know this guy wants to quickly wrap up the deal. So immediately the price will be much higher. So I feel to be a great negotiator, you don't need to be highly educated. You need to understand the other party very well. And I totally agree with what the author and today what Praveena and Bharat have said. Negotiation has to include the emotions.
Yeah, they say no, like negotiation is much of the art as much as it is a science. So probably like
Yes.
your example says that. Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, about the book and the author, there is a joint author, Tahal Raj. Uh, this is book with Chris Voss. It is a long, around 230 pages book, and the author is having his website. He is a trainer to big 500 Fortune companies, and he is taking various short courses for the art of negotiation. Though, so in this book, he has shared various examples which he teaches to his students. How to negotiate, and all these examples are from the various negotiation experience he has over the years. And by keeping open-minded, active listening, reading between the lines, and also understanding the body language. So it is said that it is not what you are before much starting much before you are talking. Your body language, your appearance speaks much more about you. So if you want to succeed in any negotiation, you should give attention to these things. Uh, Actually, it is not difficult because practice makes man automatic. So if you practice these techniques, you can. It is not necessary that हाँ अभी business negotiation है मुझे office में technique use करनी है ऐसे. You can. This becomes part of your personality, your conversation, and you can negotiate like a pro in any situation.
Yeah, we would really love to hear from everyone. There are so many learned people. We also, yes.
Can I? So I am a very bad negotiator, like someone just said. I'm very bad at negotiating. But I mean, this book review has taught me quite a few skills. I really like the idea of starting with 65%, then raising it to 85%. I really like it. I just lost a very good business because I could not negotiate. When I realized
No.
that my client is kind of fussy with me and trying to tell me that I'm the boss, I said, okay, fine, let's cut it short. Let's not continue with it. And immediately we both withdrew, and the kind of money that was supposed to show up in my bank account, it suddenly vanished. So today's book review has given me plenty of insight into, like the presenter just said, that the consistency, it makes your attitude, it translates into your behavior, it translates into your everyday life. So I think I've learned many lessons today. I really need to incorporate them.
I think
Now
Jay,
I just missed your name. If you can tell the name.
um, uh, Ritu Sharma, ma'am.
Yes. Oh yeah. Okay. Yes.
can I just add something? Ritu Sharma.
Yeah.
Exactly, like there is something called as like labeling the emotion. Probably in this case, if you
Correct.
had labeled that emotion, maybe like that the ego will go away.
Yes,
That's
yes,
exactly
yes.
the genesis
Yes.
for this like that labeling chapter is.
Correct. When you were talking about this, Mr. Gupta, I was thinking that why didn't I work on it like that? Had I worked it, had I labeled a few things, probably it would have melted the other way around. It would have been in my kitty, but yeah, I lost it.
Yeah, there is it's always simple when you know how.
Yes,
There's a
yes. Many things to learn.
You just
Yeah, please.
negotiated. You just negotiated. See, when you started talking, I'll tell you,
Yeah.
when you started talking, you waited for a slot to open up. You waited for the previous speaker to get done. You waited
Yeah.
for the time, and then you said that can I? So it is basically, if you have lost that previous deal,
Yeah.
it's a lesson learned. Or
Yep.
it's never lost. I always say it's never lost. We always learn lessons. We are always
Yeah.
learning along the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And these days, ma'am, every day I'm seeing their advertisement because we are on certain portals where all of us, exchange our things. I'm seeing their advertisement since last about 15 days every day. And I wonder what they are looking forward to and what I've lost. But yeah, let's see. It's a small word. We may come close on some other event. But today's review has taught many things. Very, very well presented work. Thank you.
We also have, we have Sekar, Guru Prasad. Anybody else would like to
Can I add something? Taught us also so many things. Like said, we have to run to the deadlines and due to audits, and we can start this book very late. But with the help, actually, I thanks the Chat GPT because it helped me to read the book and prepared my script. So thank you very much, Sandhya ma'am, for giving the opportunity to us for the book review and learn. Otherwise, I am having this book in my kitty since last 1 year. But इतना बड़ा बुक है, स्किल सीखना है, लेकिन टाइम नहीं निकाल पा रही थी मैं, और 10 दिन में आपने सब सिखा दिया. थैंक यू.
मैंने नहीं सिखाया, आपने ही
Not only you,
Yeah.
Pravina ma'am. Not only you, Pravina ma'am. We all have learned so much. 10 chapters have been so beautifully summarized by both of you, Bharat
very
sir and
beautifully,
Pravina
very
ji.
beautifully.
Very beautifully. I could read only 3, but I know what is there in all other 7.
Yes, I also agree. Very beautifully done
And
work.
for chartered accountants, like it's said that we are polished with our intelligent quotient knowledge portals. We have the very strong knowledge base. But when it comes to negotiation, there is the real challenge. Even I mean, this is the thing which we have not learned in schools and colleges, not even our professional career. एकदम से exam pass किया and we become chartered accountants. But this
Meenakshi,
skill
I
is so
just want to
important.
say a word here. मैं अभी 2-3 बार से 2-3 लोगों ने जो भी रिव्यू दिया उसमें सुन रही हूँ. The moment we start with this very proposition like I'm a very bad negotiator or I'm very bad at negotiating, अपन पहले से एक stance ले लेते हैं जो नीचे का होता है. That the other person knows the negotiation skills better than me. ये बुक में ना जो स्ट्रक्चर दिया हुआ है दैट इज जैसे अभी प्रवीणा ने बोला एज शी मेंशन लाइक अगर हम इसको रोज रोज प्रैक्टिस करें तो इट बिकम्स आवर पर्सोना एंड द वेरी एटीट्यूड दैट आई एम नॉट समबडी हु इज लाइक at any less in any kind of negotiation. ये जब हम शुरू ही ऐसे करते हैं ना कि आई एम वेरी बैड एट negotiating, हम आधे टाइम लॉस में वहीं पे शुरू हो जाते हैं.
Yes,
I would
we
like
lose
to
our mind.
Correct.
I'd like to interrupt a bit here. This is a classroom kind of a session. So here we are accepting that we are bad negotiators.
No, ma'am,
But
no.
if the
If you
person we
keep
are going
no,
to negotiate will never
I'm
say
just
that we are
saying,
bad.
Meenakshi
ma'am,
ma'am, I don't want to agree on this. Whenever you say I am bad, you will always say I am bad. Never ever use words. Words have their power.
Don't ever say, yeah. One
Yes.
should
Never
not
say.
have a poor
Even if you say
self-esteem.
in,
Yeah.
in
it
silence to
becomes a
yourself, that means you're
self-image
saying
issue.
that I am bad at negotiation. Never ever
When you
use these
say
words.
once, it's hurt 10 times here.
Yes.
Exactly,
Poonam ma'am is right
exactly.
that you are manifesting negativity. I am not good at negotiation. He will win it before me. So
Meenakshi,
not
this is
And also there is one more point, Kishore sir, आपने बहुत सही बोला कि negativity कहाँ से आती है? Because the moment we feel that we are lacking something, we lose this very proposition of win-win.
और हम अपने आप ही जस्टिफाई करते हैं. किसी को तो बोलना पड़ेगा. किसी को बोलने से ही आपका सबकॉन्शियस सुन रहा है कि what you are saying is always right. So I am following your suggestion only. You are not good at this. You will always be bad at this.
yes. See, somebody has to win, and you have to decide that you have to win. If you decide you will win, then you will always find what is it that you badly need and how to get it. So it all depends on your decision. Got it?
Yes, WIFM.
Yes.
What is it for me?
So decide and never start. That was precisely one of the observations that I had made, Meenakshi ma'am. Remember when I sent you those comments? Got it? Trust yourself.
Be thankful to you, ma'am. I'm very thankful to you.
Just Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Even if you lose with a smile. But if you start with, I'm not sure, I'm not this, then even if you win, you will not be sure whether you have really won it. And then again, when you negotiate, it is like, you are in a win-win situation where you're still losing something.
Yeah, actually, this book double underline the one thing: people are not logical; they are emotional. So the emotion, however, be your intelligent quotient, always emotional quotient works. So you see the politicians or the religious gurus, they are know this very well, and they are working with the emotions. They are using emotions of the people to become successful. That's why they are so popular. So you're working with the emotions or using your emotional quotient or upgrading or upskilling your emotional skills is very much important. So this is the new age skills everyone should learn.
Not just
See,
that, people who are on their date, initially during the dating period, they are always, they are more understanding. Later on, they lower their guard and they lower the urge to understand the person reduces, and that's when they start making mistakes.
That is why after marriage they realize I have met a new person altogether.
Yeah,
Yes.
nice to see Dr. Liana Pinaki.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, this was a wonderful session. Thanks for the insightful session. And now I realize that negotiation is a skill. It is a skill and it can be practiced and it is doable. Like in many situations earlier, we used to think that, oh no, this is not what we can do. But now we know that we can practice and we can do it. And in this, some key takeaways from my end were the tactical empathy and the power of no. That is also, I learned a very nice thing today, the power of no, wherein you give the space to the person and understand that the power of no actually empowers the other person and it also empowers our negotiation. So that is something new which I have learned.
Correct.
Thanks for
Correct. It's like in Chanakya Niti, what I was saying some time ago. Chanakya says you have to decide first only who will win. Like in a parent and a child, the parent has to decide that at whatever cost the parent will win. Because if the parent loses, the child and the parent both lose. But if the parent wins, eventually it's good for all. So you have to decide. So Mitali, that's a cue for you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sometimes I was just listening in because I think the whole conversation started with my point saying that I'm a bad negotiator. So the point I'm trying is sometimes we even move away from situations thinking it will get it confrontational because you feel that if you put your point to the person, so we move away from situations because we think it will get into a confrontation. So, but if you use these techniques, I think it can does some certain situations can be handled so much better. It can go into a negotiation phase instead of being a confrontation phase. So yes,
correct.
I learned something. So yes, thank you
Liana,
so much for the day.
Binti, Zulfikar, anything that you would like to join?
Hello, Sandhya ma'am.
Remember,
Good morning.
when I watched,
Yes, not
may I
Sandhya,
add
ma'am.
one line?
We have, let me introduce Zulfikar. He is the young dynamic CEO of an IT company. He has joined us for the first time and he has definitely been a part of a lot of negotiations. So, Zulfikar, if you would like to share something.
First of all, thank you very much for introducing me to this group. What we spoke about last time, that yes, I do like to read books, but because of time constraints, I haven't had much success in the last couple of years with it. So this gives me a lot of help in getting a lot of information quickly within a short span of time. Yeah, I mean, you know my background, right? That okay, I was a technical person, and then we started off with the company and started running the business. So a lot of these negotiation parts were kind of self-taught, but definitely what I learned in the last 6 years on my own this 1 hour session gave me a lot more insight and meaning into how it can be done as a process also to a great extent. And there were a couple of points in which uh, they were on best effort basis that yes, let's see what best we can do, otherwise we let go. Because obviously you can't go below certain point in pricing. But yeah, there can be another ways or alternative workarounds to negotiation is something which I learned well. One part is something which there are certain times whereby you know you are not going to win the negotiation no matter what you do. I think somewhere in the book, it it should have come across that yes, you need to understand when to give up also. It's like the customer is just out there to squeeze you. That yes, whatever जितना भी कम कर सकते उतना कम करवाएंगे. What we have seen is that this is a typical, not don't get me wrong in any way, but this is much more prevalent in the Indian business mindset compared to abroad because over there they value services. In India, it's like services तो सस्ते में ही होता है.
Yes. Very,
So
very
yes,
good
yes.
point. Very good point.
True.
A lot of good points I learned today. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone in the group.
Yes.
Actually, this is like what we are using over the years, labeling that things, because we are using mirroring or we are using even labeling in our day-to-day life, but we don't know what the technique is called.
Yes. Anybody
Correct,
else?
correct.
Yes. Zulfikar, you were saying something. Sorry to interrupt.
No, ma'am. I was done.
Okay. Bhavna, Pinaki, Abhilasha, anybody?
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Yes.
An
tell
awesome
me.
session, Pravina. Awesome session, Bharat. A beautiful use of chat GPT. That's a wonderful negotiation, by the way.
Come on, Pinaki. Do not give so much credit to Chat GPT. Yes,
No, no,
Pravina was honest enough, but presenting that in a
So I'm
manner
saying
that's
that's a very good negotiation to start with. To put things in the perfect perspective. Even I use Chat GPT and Gemini GPT extensively. So my sessions are also filled with a lot of information which I collect from those resources. So I'm absolutely transparent about that. Yes, I do add my own versions to them. So it's ideally you should do that, so that you have all the resources that you need to put things in the perspective that you want to. It's a welcome decision. By the way, negotiation starts with self.
Yes. I need to
It
learn
always
how
starts
to
with
use
self.
Chat GPT. I'm not, I have used it, I think, only once a little. Yes, Bhavna, you have something?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. I have been thinking of joining long back, but due to one thing or other, I could only join today. And today being such an auspicious occasion, I believe the day has started beautifully.
Yes.
And somebody was mentioning here just now that we just cleared our CA exams and started doing work. So I have also read this topic, negotiation, for the first time while I started taking up MCS batches. There it is 3 days, interpersonal and negotiation skills. So I believe all of us are faculties somewhere or the other, but it is definitely going to help us in every sphere of life, not only day-to-day life, but in our sessions as well. So thank you, Pravina and Bharatji both. You both managed so well as a team. Kudos to you. Thanks everyone for being an attentive audience as well.
Yeah. Beautifully it was presented. Very, very systematic and simplistic way. You all broke it down each chapter
Turn by turn, they were speaking turn by turn, chapter by chapter.
Yeah, absolutely. और मुझे जो बहुत अच्छा लग रहा था कि the way you are sharing the interpretations of whatever you are reading out, that brings the real life connection with the real time situations. हाँ, एक चीज I was expecting कि when Pravina was sharing those dialogues, वो अगर आप एक दूसरे के साथ करते तो और भी मजेदार होता.
See,
the dialogue between the client and the negotiator.
Yeah, role play,
Client,
right?
है ना? बहुत मजेदार होता अगर वैसे हम करते तो.
Yeah,
So
initially
it
we
was
had
a very
planned
good
for a
session.
short.
Like I really enjoyed it. Normally, I do not stay such a long duration in any sessions, but एक चीज बहुत अच्छा लग रहा था. I continued and actually listened to the entire conversation. बहुत अच्छा रहा. Thank you so much.
Kishorji, anything you would like to
Plan
share?
was like that only, but we didn't get time to practice with each other.
Yeah, we had actually like 10 role play we were discussing, but unfortunately, like her busy time didn't coincide with my free time, and conversely, and because of that, like and moreover, like even otherwise, chapters are 10, and each chapter actually like like in chapter 6 only one point was covered. There is something called as acquisition audit. You have like prospect plays, etc., etc. If you start, no, it will take like one session only for that. So it's huge,
Yeah. It's like एक chapter ही इतना extensive है कि एक chapter को लेके you can have a 1.5 hour session. But yeah, a big thanks to Sandhya for bringing in all these dynamic elements into book
I
review
couldn't do
sessions.
this. I couldn't
book
do
review
this without
session में
support.
दिमाग से निकालना भी एक बहुत बड़ी credibility है. Like I attend many book review sessions. तो मैं देखता हूँ कि वहाँ पे वो innovation नहीं है, the innovation that you are adding to this entire team. So like keeping the audience glued. It was almost 40 audience all throughout the session. So that's not a joke.
Yeah, that was the biggest challenge actually. Like like the thought of like I am presenting this to a nerdy kind of a audience. With due respect, like all our book reviewers. I mean,
No,
so,
the audience is not nerdy.
no. All are like fascinated about book reading. So naturally, it makes like nerdy kind of a people.
Actually,
Like,
यहाँ पे सारे learners बैठे हुए हैं. Those 40 are all learners. In fact, अभी
I
जो
don't know. No?
33
I mean,
people हैं,
initial thought was like,
they're all
oh
learners.
God,
They're
like
all
I'm
sitting there
presenting.
to learn.
Yeah.
We are investing our time, so it's
Of course.
not.
No, I'm
It's
telling about the
not.
like experience. Initial
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
I thought like oh God, like is it like because I believe like nerdy are the like smartest kind of a people. Like so that was like a kind of initial reaction I had. And it went off
Absolutely.
well. Thanks.
बहुत अच्छा रहा, बहुत अच्छा रहा.
I think it's past 10:30, and I know some of them are fasting. So, if anybody has any further questions, Deepa, today you have not spoken. Deepa is not there.
Deepa has written on the group. She has written on the group.
So with that, I think I'll end the call. As usual, I will definitely share the recording. And thank you so much, Praveena and Bharat. Again, thank you to all of the listeners today for making this such a wonderful day. This is what keeps us motivated. This is what keeps us going, hoping. And yes, next time we have the book Arthashastra. I don't know how Kishorji and team is going to go on with it, but that is something that I'm really looking forward to.
It will be superb.
Yeah. So, and the version of Arthashastra that they have chosen is like a compilation of different Arthashastras. So let's hope. So with this, let's call it a day. Have a great Sunday. Have a great weekend of whatever is left. Enjoy. Thank you so much again to each one.
Yeah, bye.
And many blessings
Thank
for
you,
your
everyone.
Vrat Karwa Chauth.
Thank you. Let's hope our Chanda Mama comes at the right time.
Thank you.
Chalo. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.